My name's McKenna and I am a technology entrepreneur. I co-founded a successful business here in the Northwest in Derry in 2006. Started life with a fairly traditional career path. In fact, I used to be a commercial accountant, so it's quite an unusual step for an accountant to become an entrepreneur. But I worked in a startup business which was a spin out of Queen's University in Belfast during the early 2000s, and through that I spent a lot of time in Silicon Valley, and some of the shine just must have rubbed off. I found out that I was actually quite good at sales, so I made a strange sort of leap from accountancy into sales. I met some other people that were successful entrepreneurs, and I figured that I could have a go as well. So I did. I think everybody starts with doubts. I think the biggest hurdle for people to get over is that whole thing about having to go out and sell, because in a startup business, you don't really have anything. You maybe don't even have a product. You have to sort of create a story, and that's the first thing, that you go out and you sell that story, and you go and talk to a lot of people. And if you're quite a shy person, which I am, I had to really force myself to do that. But there's a sort of saying, entrepreneurs they call it feeding the rat. Once you start, you can't really stop. This is a terrible thing to admit to you, but when I started out in business, myself and my co-founder, in order to get started with our latest business learning pool, we borrowed loads of money from the bank. We had to give personal guarantees for that, and I never ever told my husband how much debt I was in. Just didn't, because he would have not coped with it as well as I did. Part of being an entrepreneur is being able to compartmentalise fear, put things away into a little box and lock it with a key, and don't really go there. Don't think about it, because if you thought every day about how much money you owed in the early days, you'd be paralysed with fear and you wouldn't actually be able to do anything. I think that a lot of people talk about failing fast. I don't really agree with that, actually. I think that you should spend a lot of time preparing and testing your business idea out before you launch your business. I mean, obviously, you don't test your business idea out on your mom or your family, because they love you and they're going to tell you that you're wonderful. You test it out on strangers. But when you've got an idea and you've verified it a bit, then just get started. Try and push the doubts to the back of your mind, but do positive things like getting your business model right, managing your cash properly, and marketing, all of which you can do a lot of online and on a shoestring these days. When you start a business, there's a whole lot of things that you have to do that you've never done before. You have to become a real jack of all trades, and you have to be the person that is leading your team. All of that might be quite unfamiliar territory to you, but you have to just get on with it. I would say most people probably aren't prepared for the amount of work that it takes. If you're only prepared to work 60 hours a week, I would say don't bother, because it's not going to be enough and you're just wasting your own time and everybody else's. It is incredible hard work. And there are a lot of challenges. Recruiting people, building a team, getting your culture right, having to deal with bureaucracy and red tape's a real pain in the ass, but you just manage all those things and you get through it. The most useful thing that ever happened for us when we started Learning Pool was that there were a few other entrepreneurs that were a bit further along than we were, who were prepared to talk to us about mistakes they had made. Now, this usually happened behind closed doors, in hushed voices, in a sort of very, you mustn't ever tell anybody else this, but I'm going to give you a bit of advice. So, I mean, if there's a way that people can more widely access that type of mentorship from other people anonymously or with knowing who it's from, then that would be incredibly useful for people starting out.